Hello and a warm welcome to the 14th episode of Consulting Without Borders, Perspectives. I'm Victoria Olskaya. I'm your moderator and host for today's show. As the president of the Gabriel Al-Salem Foundation, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with all of you. Our foundation is a US-based nonprofit organization working internationally, and it is dedicated to celebrating the life and inspirational work of the late Gabriel Al-Salem, who was himself an international consultant and a true global citizen. Happy June 1st, everyone. Today is not just an ordinary day. June 1st is celebrated across the globe as the International Children's Day. And guess what? Our topic today is going to reflect this wonderful theme. So get ready for an inspiring discussion. Before we dive in, I wanted to give a special shout out to our amazing viewers tuning in from around the globe. Please drop a comment and let us know where you're joining us from. As for me, I'm broadcasting today from Florida, bringing you all the positive vibes. Also, I wanted to give a huge shout out and welcome to those who are watching our replay. Remember, we are live today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So please feel free to engage with us by asking questions directly in the comment section. Let's make this conversation become truly interactive and inspiring. And if you're enjoying what you are seeing, please don't forget to hit the like button. This means the world to us, and it will also help to spread the word about this broadcast. And hey, if you decide that we're not your exactly cup of tea, then you can always unlike us later. No hard feelings. We won't take it personally. All right, let's keep the show rolling. Let me see who is saying hello to us today. Tim, Son, thank you very much for joining us from Pennsylvania. In fact, Tim is always supporting our event because he was the one who taught me to do the live streaming, and I'm forever grateful for that to Tim. We have guests, viewers joining us from Ghana. Welcome, welcome. Please post in the comments where you're from. Katarzyna joining from Finland. Welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time to tune in today, whether it's your morning time or your daytime or your evening. We are lucky to have our viewers joining us from all around the globe. So we try to stay with this timing, which is 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time or Universal Time, to give a chance to everyone, wherever they are on the globe, to have a chance to join us live. Well, now let me introduce our extraordinary guest speaker for today's show, someone who not only shared a profound personal connection with Gabriel Al-Salem during their time working together at the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, but who also played a very important role in inspiring the creation of our international conference, Consulting Without Borders, and our prestigious award for excellence in consulting. Our guest speaker today will share her incredible journey of transformation from being a corporate executive to building her own business, supporting parents and empowering parents of children with diverse minds. Please give a warm virtual welcome to Valeria Della Rosa, who is joining us today from beautiful Italy. Welcome, Valeria.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for having me today, and a warm hello from Milan, Italy, to everyone who is joining us.
Yes, in fact, yeah, we have people joining usually from around the globe, some in our time zone, some in the European time zone, some far away. So, Valeria, yeah, it's a pleasure to see you. And we already had the chance to talk a little bit about what you're going through now and all your new adventures. But I just wanted to say it's been a pleasure to reconnect after many years. Just like I said, Valeria worked with Gabriel in around 2007, 2010, right, during those years when he was the director of the BAS program, Business Advisory Services program. Later it was renamed into Advice for Small Businesses. And Valeria was his dear colleague who was based in London, but had the chance to travel to Central Asia, where Gabriel and his team were based. And just like I said, Valeria, I will always be so thankful for your support during the difficult time when we lost Gabriel, and very thankful to your for your ideas of creating the conference and creating the award, and which inspired me later to start the foundation in Gabriel's name to celebrate his life, to remember him, and to bring his legacy further. Thank you very much for all that.
Thank you, Victor. Well, it's an honor to be back after so long and to connect and to see that the foundation is still alive and still bringing professionals from around the world together, even if virtually. It was a great time to work at the bank, at EBRD, and particularly with small businesses. I worked in that team for over 10 years, and it was an important part of my professional journey, and partly also linked to what I'm doing now.
This is great, and I was going to ask you. I know you spent a lot of years working for European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, holding various positions, working as a director of one of the departments there, correct?
Yes, correct.
But I know that at some point you also moved on and you left England, right? You went back to Italy and you started working for a different company, Thoughtworks. And I just wanted to ask you, how was that? How did that go? And what kind of experiences did you gain there that impacted your personal and professional life?
Yeah, so well, after almost, I think, over 10 years in the small business team, I joined within the bank, what is now called the transformation team. It had several names, but I was working on change, transformation, and working a lot on technology. And that obviously fueled an already existing passion I had, which was one for technology, and ultimately pushed me to move to the private sector, to a tech company, Thoughtworks, where I gained invaluable experience in building software, right? So part of the reason was personal, to move back to Italy, to join the rest of my family, but professional from the point of view of wanting to gain more experience directly on the technology front.
This is great. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to acknowledge a few more people who are joining us live today. In fact, there is Paolo joining us from Verona, Italy.
Ciao.
And I also see the Brian Ing, who is joining us from Cambridge. Thank you, Brian, for tuning in today. Brian actually was one of our speakers on this show, and he was also part of the conference that we recently did. So always happy to be in touch with Brian, also a dear friend and colleague of Gabriel's. And we will be posting more people who will be joining us. I know Anya is behind the scenes, diligently managing the comments that are coming in. But again, please don't forget that you can post your comments or ask questions directly in the comment section of the social media that you are using right now. And we're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So yeah, I understand that your years at the Thoughtworks gave you a lot of experience in innovation and technology. And how did that all help you to then make the move to the next chapter, the big chapter in your personal life and your professional life? You are now working on creating your own business, Oli Help.
Yes.
And please tell us about this big transformation, what inspired it, and how it is going.
Well, so it's a relatively new endeavor. I started off this year, and I'm in the process of building the company. So thank you for giving the opportunity to tell this story. It's a very personal one, quite hard to tell actually. I think what I will share a video that I've produced that will give you a sense of why I decided to dive into this endeavor and what pushed me off the cliff, I would say. I think this will help in giving a sense of why I did it and why Oli Help exists and what we intend to achieve with our new business.
Are we ready for the video? Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. I'm sorry, I think we have a little bit of a technical issue with the video. Anya, can you please bring us back? Let's try again, because let me try to add it, because sometimes just adding a video doesn't work very smoothly, but we'll give it one more try.
Yeah.
Because I can see it here. Let me try to play it. Okay. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening, because as we were practicing, it was playing just fine. And for some reason, it's just not opening. Well,
technology.
Yes, glitches happen, but it would be very sad if we cannot see the video. So I was just maybe as I talk a little bit, maybe Valeria, can you try to what should we do? Can we reload it perhaps, or just try to put it back in the studio? As I'm just keep talking, just wanted to welcome.
I can try again.
Yeah, Holger is here. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And he's saying I was
I've
so much
added a
looking
new
forward
one
to seeing Valeria, and yeah,
Hi,
we're just
Olga.
trying to make the video now, working. Let me try again.
I've added a second one.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, it's working now. Sorry for the glitch.
Stop it! Give it back! Give it back to me! Stop! Stop!
Mark, I really like the way you built that tower. You had so much patience picking the right pieces. I would have given up so much earlier. Now, please put away the Legos in your room. We're starting homework in 5 minutes.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you for sharing this amazing video, and which tells your personal story, of course. And I know it's very touching to me, as I'm also a parent, and I know we have many parents in the audience, younger parents or older parents. Can you tell us a little bit more? What is, again, behind this new business, and why did you decide to leave the corporate world where you've been making an amazing career and to dive into entrepreneurship, specifically with this mission, supporting parents?
Yeah, I think I wanted to share my experience of understanding and experiencing firsthand the power you can have to help children who may have diverse minds. That's many of them. They may be diagnosed with a neurodevelopmental condition such as ADHD, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, or autism, or learning disabilities, or combinations of these disorders, that actually there's a lot you can do to help them. Because by understanding better what's behind these conditions, and making the best use of the science and the evidence that is out there, you can really do a lot to help your children thrive. And the main lesson I had from my experience, which I think shows pretty well that life can get pretty hard when you have these when you have children like these at home, you end up essentially feeling powerless, and that does not put you in a condition to help your children. So my experience showed that understanding that what was behind these conditions, and essentially that children who may have behavioral issues don't do so on purpose, then you put yourself in a position of acceptance that the biggest impact you can have it through your own change. But of course, this is very hard as a parent, because we're adults, our own behavioral patterns are engraved in years of ways of doing things, in years of interacting with your children in certain ways. And also, generally, it can be quite hard to accept that you have to do the change, right? So I just decided that my experience together with technology could possibly accelerate the process of helping parents change so that they can have a transformative impact on their children. So that's what we're doing. We want to empower them. We want to help them see the uniqueness that is in their children, and we want to bring evidence-based research to their hands such that they can really make a difference to their children's lives. That's, at the end of the day, what we're looking to do.
Okay, this is amazing. I just wanted to ask you, I guess I never asked you exactly why Oli Help? What stands behind the name?
Well, actually, my son's name is Oliver, so that's what's behind the character that we designed to support this initiative is an amusing character which goes through a lot of emotion. So if you follow us on social media, you will get a better sense of that. And we thought help was very simply explanatory of what we do. We help parents. We don't do anything on their behalf. We just help them access the research, access knowledge that is out there. We help them change their own behavioral patterns so that they can enjoy more harmonious relationships with their children. And we don't leave them alone, because we actually know that there are many parents out there who are going through the same challenges, and who, at the end of the day, care for a more inclusive future for their children.
And how does technology plays a role in all of this? You mentioned it a few times, and nowadays,
Yes.
of course, everybody's also doing AI, artificial intelligence. So do you use that as well, or are you planning to use?
Yes,
that?
yes. So yes, we're building an app that helps. As I said, it helps first of all parents make sense of kids' diverse minds, and you can get a glimpse of that also by following us on social media, signing up to our newsletters. We try to make scientific knowledge accessible to modern adults in formats that are, I would say, more digestible than scientific papers. And we help them evolve their own behavioral patterns. And this is where technology comes in. We're looking to use artificial intelligence to help essentially personalize the support we can give through the feedback that we receive from parents, and through the knowledge that is acquired on the diagnostic profile of the child. So There is a clinical team that is working on this, and that's what we're looking to do.
This is great. I had the chance to look at your website. Of course, I also started following you on Instagram, and for anyone out there, it's olihelp.com, and then on Instagram it's also olihelp. We can put the links in the comment section to this show, so it will just stay there for anyone who wants to sign up. And when we were talking about this, you said that of course you target parents who have children with diverse minds, who have very special need for this extra support, but it is also helpful for probably any parent who wants to build a bridge, establish better connection with their child, who might not necessarily need any extra support, but just this child-parent relationships sometimes are not so straightforward and smooth. So as you were telling me, anyone can benefit from.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The
content we provide is first of all informative for any parents. So it can help raise awareness of these conditions. It can help parents identify challenges, symptoms. We talk about diverse minds, not because we don't believe in diagnostic criteria, quite the opposite, but because we know that human minds are complex. And even though children or adults might not fall or want a label, having that knowledge can help support them. And a lot of the content we provide, the advice, our aim is to really differentiate ourselves by providing practical advice that parents can action. You know, you will see some of that in our how-to guides. I think last week I think this weekend we published a newsletter that talked about executive functioning, and so essentially how our brain functioning determines the functioning of our lives and our beings. And by understanding that, we provided a how-to guide to help children focus on a piece of homework, which is usually a challenge that most parents have, right? So that's really our mission, to use accessible scientific knowledge and make it available to parents out there. Of course, it's particularly helpful to children who have diagnosed conditions, but it can be beneficial to any child and any parent-child interaction.
Wonderful. Well, Anya's saying thank you so much for sharing about this powerful initiative. Have you already seen the positive impacts of your work? Well, we know you're still a startup, you're still at the beginning of your journey, but do you already have some success stories or positive impact that you can share with us?
Well, I have to say the first is my own experience, right? So, and that's what led me to create it. So seeing that changing my own behavior, changing the way I interacted with my child, with my son, with both really, but particularly with my child, and utilizing strategies that are evidence-based and instruments that are proven to help with these difficulties does work. It does make your life a lot easier, and it creates space for doing more, right? So that's, I would say, the the first positive impact of my work. Now we're in a let's say research and development phase. We're looking to extend this experience and innovate, trying to make the most of the technology potential that's out there. And so it's really about bringing science and technology together to create more of an impact. And we expect to learn in the process. So part of the idea is also to really learn more about these conditions, such that this can help with further research and to help children everywhere.
Speaking about starting your own business, we've talked about the mission, which is an amazing mission, and I'm sure it will impact positively a lot of people, specifically parents. But every business is not easy to do, and there's probably a lot of hurdles that you've encountered already, and that you probably will encounter, and that you have to overcome. So can you please share with us, with the viewers, what it takes to start your own business, and what kind of hurdles you've been managing so far?
I think, first of all, it takes a bit of madness and a bit of blindness on the risks that you face. But this said, I was recently talking to one of my former bosses, and he said, well, I bet, Valeria, you are loving this in equal measure as you are hating this. And I think this really sums it up. It's an extremely exciting endeavor, but of course you have challenges on every front, especially after a long corporate experience. There's so many things you take for granted, from the fact that you need a bank account, that of course you need investment, but that everyone expects is going to be hard to get. But it's also the little things, you have to basically take care of everything. And but at the same time, yes, it's very exciting. You have a lot of flexibility. It's all dependent on your time, your energy, and your willingness to also be helped, I would say, because I think this was one of the best discoveries of this process. I had a lot of friends, former colleagues with different professional profiles and experiences who stepped in, not just to encourage me, but to help me. And that's really amazing to see how, your network can come in on all sorts of fronts you would never expect.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's not easy. I can say from my personal experience, I have had a couple of business ventures, still now working on a new one. So I don't want to talk about my own things, but I can totally relate to everything that you're saying. And I'm sure that the transition from the corporate world, where you said everything is sort of taken care of and you just have to do your best in your job, this transition can be hard in a way, because in your own business you're responsible for everything. Nobody's really giving you anything or helping. Of course you got a team, and I'm sure that's great. That's very important that you have them. But as a top executive, you're responsible for everything, and it's not easy. So overall, how does it feel that you, after leaving the corporate world, starting your own business, does it match your expectations, or have you faced perhaps any regrets or disappointments already along the way?
I would say I'm loving it.
That's good.
more than I think it's very exciting, and yes, every day is a surprise. Every day you're faced with a new challenge, but equally there is opportunity, and in particular, what I'm loving most is really to have kind of squared back to my origin, so to speak, because when I studied economics, and I did a Master of Public Administration, and I thought I would work in public health. Then I ended up working in development finance, which was amazing. Then I went on to technology, and somehow I've come back to health, right? And of course, I don't have any clinical background, so parts of the challenge, or the one of the first steps I took was to obviously link up and create a medical and clinical team. And it's great to just be exposed to a completely new sector, for me, of course, and to see how your experience in different areas can come in useful, and it's just great to be learning still, even though I'm creating something new. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. Well, having a great team that's really great. It's very important. And I saw on your website that you already assembled a very impressive
Yes.
team of specialists who will be, of course, dealing with more like the clinical issues. But you, as a top executive, have to deal with everything else to make sure it works smoothly.
Exactly.
I saw a very interesting comment and question from
Yes,
Harrison.
on autism. Yes.
Sharing his own experience of organizing trainings at the university where he is teaching, and he says, that his son is 5, will be 5 soon, and diagnosed with stage 1 autism. And well, thank you, Harrison, first of all, for joining us today and taking the time to be here with us. Thank you for sharing your story. And Harrison says he wants to get in touch. So
definitely look forward to. I think what's interesting for everyone to know, which was also new to me, is actually what we're doing is essentially an innovative approach to behavioral parent training. So in fact, parent training is part of the multimodal treatment that is foreseen for children who are diagnosed either with autism or ADHD or other neurodevelopmental conditions. It's one of the fundamental pillars of effectively managing these conditions, because they're not diseases you cannot get cured, right? So it's really about learning to live with them, and I think evidence shows that awareness and knowledge and modifying your own behavior can really make a difference to the lives of these children, but also to families, and the way they live their everyday lives in a lot of ways that I think up until my first child I took for granted. So everything that is you take for granted when you have kids, sometimes if you have a child with one of these diagnoses, it's no longer for granted. So that's where we come in.
Right. And in my life, I had a similar experience. We talked about it. It's different, but I can totally relate to what you're saying. Taking certain things for granted, and then when it turns out differently, then you're just faced with this big issue, problem that can be solved or can be smoothed in some ways, but it's not easy. And just like you said, awareness is very important for parents, especially in dealing with these issues that they may face raising a child, because my problem was with my own daughter when we faced a very difficult condition of eating disorders, is that we lacked awareness. So I spent so much time and energy and money running around trying to find help, and if I knew then what I know now, things would be so much different and so much easier and maybe smoother, quicker. We wouldn't have lost so much time. So it's so important for parents to have the access to the right information and the support from the very beginning. So I admire your mission and your work.
I think the odds that you also have a PhD in neuroscience are quite low, right? When you discover certain things, and and even with a lot of education, it can be hard to understand what can help you actually. And so that's part of what pushed me to do this, to make more of this knowledge accessible, but also to make it practical and applicable to everyday life, because I think that's another part of the story. It's not just understanding, but it's also in practice, what is it that you can do that will make your life and your children's lives easier?
Exactly, because from my experience, again, sometimes a degree and even a medical degree does not always mean that you will get the right help or right advice right away, unfortunately. And this was my experience in the United States and in some other countries. I'm pretty sure it's the case in where you are, in Italy or in Europe. It just happens. So practical advice from someone who's been there, practical advice from the lived experience is totally invaluable. That's what I believe. I just wanted to say, so Harrison, he wants to get in touch. So how can he, I guess he can just sign up for the newsletter, or he can...
connect on LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn, write to us via contact emails. Everything is there on our website and on our channels.
Yes, and you can also just write to the foundation if you cannot find Valeria on LinkedIn or elsewhere, and I'll be happy to give the email and more contact information. But basically, yes, I think we already posted the links to the company, Oli Help, and I know there is a very easy way there to find, to contact you. So we have another question from Stephen Tupper. Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for joining us today. Thank you so much for being here. He's saying, this is absolutely fascinating. I work with the childcare institution in Ukraine. The key issue is involving and enabling the parents to help the children. Yes, Stephen is one of us. He is one of the foundation directors. He's been very helpful with everything that the foundation is doing. And he was also one of the speakers of this broadcast. And Stephen's been working in Ukraine and for Ukraine since the beginning of the Russian invasion. So I know that Stephen did a lot of work helping children and parents and families in Ukraine with all sorts of issues. So yeah, thank you, Stephen, for your comment and for being here. And I'm sure Valeria perhaps can give you some advice, or you can collaborate in some innovative way. That would be wonderful, of course.
Well, it would be lovely at some point to be able to help parents all over the world. Right now, the help we provide is in English and Italian, but I think in the future nothing will stop us to provide it in more languages. There is an element that is cultural. It's not just a translation issue, because as probably everyone will know, there is a lot of stigma around mental health. And so part of what we're trying to do is to look at help in a culture conscious context. So trying to make sure that, when we provide our advice in Italian, it's also keeps in mind the cultural dimensions that exist, and what underpins, parent-child relationships in each country, because that's so fundamental to building a healthy relationship with your child. So hopefully one day we will be able to provide our support in more countries.
And of course, with the spread of artificial intelligence, things become easier in many ways. Even the translation, you can just basically, what was a hurdle before could become so much more easier these days,
Yes,
very
I
soon.
think there is some, in our field, because there is this cultural dimension, there is still some way to go in that sense. There's nothing that is purely automated. At least that's what we believe, because communication is at the base of at the basis of relationships between parent and children.
Right. Well, what I was referring to maybe is just the basic information or the knowledge base, maybe perhaps the newsletters, the articles that you're providing that could be maybe at some point available in different languages, and that would be already a great start for someone
Yes,
to read it.
definitely.
Yeah. I also had, I saw a question from Anya. Maybe Anya, you can bring it up. Yeah, so what do you think is needed to overcome mental health stigma in certain cultures?
This is a difficult question. I think not just Oli help, there is a huge amount of work that has to be done. But I think there are also countries where there has been a huge amount of progress in this field. So if I look at the UK, for example, there's been a huge progress when it comes to, for example, thinking about neurodiversity in the workplace, which is something that is still not discussed, for example, in Italy. So I think there is a lot of work to be done, particularly when it comes to awareness building, setting up the right role models and so forth. But I think there is hope, and things will change on this front. I think a lot is already changing. So we just hope that we can provide a little contribution to this objective.
Thank you for your answer. I saw another question. I'm going to post it up from Anya. She was asking, why did you decide to do a startup instead of, for example, a nonprofit organization?
I think it's for a question of sustainability and making sure that what we create evolves and doesn't just sit still, right? So, and to do that, you need investment, particularly when it comes to leveraging technology. So it was a conscious choice because we think that potentially that can allow more impact in the long term, even though it potentially makes it harder to start with, because you don't just need to prove that your product works from a clinical standpoint or solves an important social problem, but that it's also sustainable financially. And that's not easy when you're talking about conditions which affect only a percentage of the population. Not a small percentage, but still it's a percentage. But equally, I think we're seeing more impact investors in the market and more investors who understand that it's possible to have an impact and also develop a business sustainably.
Well, speaking about business, since you are starting a business, I just wanted to ask you to please share some practical tips or strategies for other entrepreneurs looking to build a purpose-driven business, and that's what Oli Help is.
I think I would say start. Don't overthink it. You will never have the answers to everything. I think a lot of challenges will come your way, but in a way, that's part of the experience. So, yes, as long as I think when it comes to a purpose-driven business, as long as you are doing something you care deeply about, I think that's a huge edge when it comes to overcoming the challenges that you're confronted with at the beginning, because it helps motivate you, and it helps minimize the way you see risks and the challenges you see. I think paradoxically, it's easier to start a purpose business than it is to start a normal business, because somehow yes, it's your own motivation that can help overcome the challenges.
When it comes from your own experience and from your own heart, in some ways it is helpful. But business is still a business, and it can bring a lot of headache along the way, and dealing with these hurdles sometimes is not easy. Again, I'm talking from my personal experience, and I only hope that for you it's just a smooth road. Although I know it
won't be.
it's probably not, because just any business has obstacles and hurdles, and we just have to get over them the best way we can. And I heard someone was saying that in a way you can just build the plane as you're flying it. So
partly, I guess.
Yeah, in a way, of course.
Feels like it.
Yeah, preparation and setting things right is very important, and but still, especially as the business starts growing, you just have to sort of become, really cool about it, and just let it grow, and don't focus perhaps on details, not focus on not being too perfectionistic. And that's what I tend to do personally. Sometimes it becomes a problem, but in having your own business, you just have to trust the team and the process. I wanted to ask you also, I know this is still just the beginning of your journey, but what are the most rewarding moments in this journey, empowering parents and supporting children with diverse minds? Or perhaps what you are looking forward to have as a reward in doing this business?
Well, I think, as I said, I hinted to before, what's already very rewarding is to see the encouragement and support that I'm receiving from a lot of former colleagues, a lot of friends who are stepping in with their skills, with their experience, and it makes a huge difference, because you can't know it all. And I think, the biggest reward will be, of course, to know that, with this little endeavor, we've made a difference to families across the globe eventually, and to their children, right? We've helped them see the uniqueness that actually exists in every mind, right? In a way, we all have diverse minds, and I think that's what would be the biggest thing, the biggest reward.
Thank you. And I saw a comment from Anya. This has about our previous discussion. She said that basically, this is true with any endeavor. It's current. She's writing her thesis, and definitely feels like she's building the plane as she's flying it. So you just have to keep going, keep moving. That's very very important. And I just wanted to maybe ask, I'm still, just please give us any questions, any comments for those who are watching us. Please don't feel shy. You can just post your question or comment in the comment section of the social media platform that you're using, and we will see it on our end, and Valeria will be happy to answer your questions. Perhaps someone is also in the process of transitioning from the corporate world to starting their own business, and they need more inspiration. So please let us know. And meanwhile, I just wanted to ask you, for every business, or for anything that we're doing, it's always good to have a vision. And they say, like, envision what you want to achieve in, let's say, 5 years, right? Maybe 10 years. So I know you're just at the beginning, and I know you're building the plane as you're flying it, although you already have a lot of moving pieces in place. But what is your big, vision for this business?
I think the ambition we have is to actually develop digital therapeutics. So not just, let's say, have an impact on the family situation and the well-being of the parents, because our intervention is on parents, and ultimately we're looking to decrease their stress levels, but potentially to develop something that actually has a benefit, a measurable benefit, a clinically measurable benefit on diagnosed children with ADHD and some comorbidities. So this would be our ultimate ambition. I think it's some time away, but yes, I think you have to believe in something bigger to help you stay on track.
Thank you very much, Valeria, for all your insights and the inspiration. Thank you for sharing your journey and for answering the questions. I think we're approaching the end of this hour. And again, we're still open to the questions. So if anybody wants to ask something or share their own story, you can do that in the comment section. We'll be happy to share it with everyone. But before, so I just wanted to thank you for doing what you're doing. And before we finish this broadcast, please don't leave yet. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. And this has to do with the fact that the Gabriel Al-Salem Foundation is continuing to accept applications for the International Award for Excellence in Consulting, our prestigious award that we've been running since 2011. And in fact, Valeria was the one who suggested that we should do that, because we were thinking about doing a conference in Gabriel's name. But then I think, Valeria, you said that, well, the conference is a conference, it just happens and that's it. But the award is something that we can keep doing, and we've been doing it for many years. We've got a lot of very successful applications, a lot of winners. We had wonderful ceremonies awarding those awards to our wonderful consultants and business experts. So we are continuing to accept the applications. All the information about how to apply, the eligibility criteria, the evaluation process is on the foundation's website. And we can have it also listed in the comments. It's also posted across our social media platforms. I also wanted to mention that this year we've established a special award for Ukraine, which recognizes organizations that contribute positively to Ukraine's economy and the victory in the war. So consultants and professionals can nominate deserving organizations in Ukraine or in other countries that actually do this work helping the Ukraine's economy. The deadline for all of our awards is October 1st, and the Award International Committee is usually making their decisions by mid-December, so that we could officially announce the winners and present the awards on February 1st, which is the day of our traditional annual conference, Consulting Without Borders. So don't miss these incredible opportunities to be recognized and celebrate excellence. Visit the foundation's website for more information about the awards. And with this, do we have any more questions? Let me just see. Anya is thanking us for this discussion. It's truly important and inspiring work that you're doing. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today and being a part of this incredible discussion. And a special thank you, of course, to you, Valeria, as our inspiring speaker, for sharing your story and your journey. I also wanted to extend the gratitude to Anya Al-Salem, who has been diligently managing the technical side of this broadcast. And I hope you all enjoyed today's episode of Consulting Without Borders Perspectives. Please remember to mark your calendar for our next episode on July 1st. The speaker and the topic will be announced a little bit later. You can check the Foundation's website or our social media platforms. Please stay connected and don't miss out. Once again, thank you very much to everyone for your continued support and engagement. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Until we meet again in 1 month on July 1st, please have a fantastic day or evening ahead, and take care. Thank you, everyone.
So much. Thank you so much,
Thank
Victoria,
you.
for having
Thank
me.
you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.